Hey, what's up? It's your host, Tori, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I'm so glad you're here. Have another fun episode for you today. Nick is back, one of my IRL friends, and I'm recording this intro before I've even listened to the full podcast. And if you've been here for a bit, you'll know that my Nick episodes are just, a little bit unhinged, but I feel like this was just like a tinge of low-key unhingedness. So I hope you enjoy. Before we get to today's episode, I just want to talk about probably like the most breaking news of today. Britney Spears was offered $15 million for a tell-all book. And obviously I'm so thrilled for her because, we've watched the last 13 years of her life under the conservatorship. And I think we have a lot of questions and just want to hear her side of the story more than we have in her court appearances. But especially Dana and I were talking about this last week, just how we follow celebrity gossip and celebrity stories and really, almost build these parasocial relationships with these people. But sometimes it feels tough because, we never know the truth, or we don't see an end to these stories or these theories or whatever. And getting this book feels like that we'll see the truth and, can kind of tie a bow on this chapter in Britney Spears' life. So I'm just so thrilled for her. I'm so happy that she got a huge payout, and I hope that this is a therapeutic and healing process for her. I also want to highlight that I'm on 2 different podcasts this week. I talked to Shannon on Fluently Forward. We discussed Euphoria blind items and on-set drama with the cast. So before you watch the finale this week, go over to Fluently Forward and listen to that episode. It was super fun. And then I was also on What to Read Next with Laura. We talked about romance novels, and she gave me a bunch of recs to try out and to read, and my list is ever growing, but I'm so grateful because it is honestly my favorite thing that has come out of this pandemic is my renewed love of reading. Anyways, I think it's time for us to get to the show, so enjoy my conversation with Nick. I'm back with a very special guest, Nicholas John Drinkwater. How are you?
Nicholas John Drinkwater can't come to the phone right now, but Nicholas Alexander Drinkwater can, and he is doing swell, not to be confused with swill.
Wow, a Wordle joke right off the bat. Now we're rolling. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, rolling the millennials.
Yeah, literally. Nick and I, before the podcast started recording, we're talking about our Wordle beef because, that's what I talked about on my last episode that just dropped today. We're recording this on the 20th of February.
Look at that plug-in.
Yeah, that seamless integration. But we don't like Wordle culture. We don't identify as part of the community.
Yeah, we purposely don't identify with the community, so sorry to all of you who are a part of it. We're gonna sit here and just act like we're too good for you.
That's the thing is I'm always talking I'm too good to be part of the Wordle community when you and I met playing Online Survivor.
It's really disassociation from a reality that keeps me going.
Oh, I require that to continue to live. Absolutely. How did your fake nickname, is it a nickname? I call you Nicholas John. That's not your real name.
No, that is a nickname by nobody but you.
Yes.
To the point where Tori was very kind and sent me a Christmas card.
Yeah.
That's what they're called.
Yes.
As she does with all people premiere on her podcast, I hope. Or I'm outing her.
No, I do offer to send all my guests cards, yes.
And she sent it to me, and she sent it to my parents' house, so it said Nicholas John Drinkwater right on the top. And my mom grabbed that letter, and she went, did this person know your middle name isn't John?
She was pissed.
Oh yeah, she was heated, and I was like, yeah, it's like an inside joke. She's like, well, you need to tell her that's not your middle name.
You need to clarify.
It's no, she knows that. It's like, does she, or are you just covering for her? Why would I be covering for somebody you don't know?
Who's not here? That's so funny. Yes, I think it's a funny bit. If I'm mad at somebody and I'll just full name them. But I think this was actually pre me knowing your middle name. So I just pick one. And for guys, it's John.
Yeah, Tori confidently said Nicholas John Drinkwater as if like she had previously been told this and just was like committing to it.
No, it's a bit, I swear. I just pick like the most generic, like John, Elizabeth, Maria, and just like stick it in. But yes, I am so glad you're back. I think this is like your 6th or 7th time on the pod. We met online playing Online Survivor. You're an avid curler.
Yes,
And
avid.
avid curler. The listeners have been dying since your last appearance to know, how is your team, the Dustpans, doing?
Yeah, so I think the last time we talked, it was October, and my team was on the fence about if we were going to try to like roll into a like fall, early winter season, or if we were going to wait until after the new year to do it because of some moving parts with some of our teammates and just like regular life plans and all of that stuff. So we picked up curling after the new year. The curling team has been reshuffled. So we had 6 members of our team last year. We cut 3 of them, the dead weights, the loose ends, those who had better things going on in their lives, apparently. Let's just say that.
You're like, we left them, but in reality, they left you. Classic.
So we had to do a little bit of hustling to get more members of the team. So we hustled, we got more members of the team, and we started up our first season about a month ago. And 5 weeks into the season, get ready, Tori.
I don't know why I'm crossing my fingers, but I'm like
2 and 3.
What's
and that's
that?
good.
What's
because
that?
last season we only had 1 win.
Yes, and now you have 2?
And now we have 2 wins.
2 wins, 3 losses?
2 wins, 3 losses with 2 weeks left. In the next 2 weeks of the season, we play the 2 worst teams in the league. So there is a chance, however small, that we are going to finish with a winning record.
That's amazing.
And that would just be like, us moving towards our Olympic dreams, which is the end goal here.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. I feel like we've been talking way too much about sports on this podcast, and it's going to continue in this episode, and it's just not my brand.
And every time Tori's like, okay, what should we talk about on the pod? It's like, okay, well, how do we like rope some stuff in? And I always am like, well, we could talk about this, but is that your brand?
Yeah, you're like, let's talk about the Olympics. I was like, let's not.
I will like constantly like say like this, but question mark.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But yeah, so the dustpans are good with 2 weeks left in the season. We have official merch now, so get your Dustpans 2022 merch through Tori if you want it.
Stop.
We have sweaters.
It's cute. I'll post a picture. I'll post it on socials. It's super cute.
And we've only almost gotten in a fight with 1 team.
Perfect.
So we're doing great. We're
You're
thriving.
coming out on top.
The newbies have arose to the challenge, and we're feeling good. This season's going to end in 2 weeks, and we're hoping to carry all of our talent and momentum and just like raw skill into the next season, which is really when we're going to like show our stuff and move to the top of the leaderboard.
I love that. I played curling. No, I curled.
Yeah, you curled. Curl.
Curl. I curled for the first time in my life in December 2021.
I was like, what's the next thing she's going to say? She's like, it's like, ooh, the suspense. Let me fill in the rest of the story. So I curled for the first time in my life in December of 2021. And the first thing I did was I sat down in the hack.
No, I didn't.
And I had that stone in my hand, and I felt the power. And I stood up, and I pushed off, and then I ate shit face first on ice, broke my nose, and had to go to the hospital, so I will never be returning. That's how that story ended for Tori.
No, I was... no. I was also a natural.
It's that Canadian blood.
Yeah, 100%. No, I actually didn't know how fun curling is.
Yes, facts.
Like, it's actually super fun, and I would actually do it again. And I feel like, especially with COVID, I was just going to say our propensity. Is that even a word?
Just roll with it. If you say it confidently, nobody will ever question you on pronunciation of words.
Except for fucking my mom listens to this, and then she texts me, and she's like, you used this word wrong. And I'm like, okay.
Well, that's because your mom was a teacher, right?
Yes.
So
are you.
But this is a teacher thing that if I don't know how to pronounce a word, I just like confidently say it. My students never call my bullshit on it.
Because they're in like 8th grade.
but it's a skill that you can use in other layers of
Yeah,
your
that's true.
life.
That's true. I have the propensity. I really hope that means. I feel like COVID has taken away just like trying stuff almost like for the first time.
Yeah, I
Like,
can see that.
yeah, I was talking to my therapist the other day, and she was just saying, like, we were just talking about like needing more variety in my life and like trying new things and like blah, blah, blah. And I was just like really thinking about how COVID has kind of taken a lot of, like, you just have so many other precautions that you're thinking about that like you kind of just get stuck in doing stuff you like know is safe or like you've continued to do or like whatever. So curling I feel like was like one of the only new activities I've tried in the last couple years, and it was like actually super fun. I can see why people do it.
I get what you're saying. There's like so many variables to consider when trying something anyway. To like add just more to that makes it overwhelming to the point where like, why do you want to start it? I will
Yes.
say on the flip side, for me in curling, is when I started playing, it was about this time last year, and a lot of it was like, okay, well, I can't do the stuff I usually do on Saturday nights, and now that like
Yeah.
we're
Go to
starting to
the
reopen a
bar.
little bit, yeah, now that we're starting to reopen a little bit, things are open to do things, but I still can't like go to the bar and sing karaoke,
Yes.
which is a usual activity of mine.
Yes.
And being like, okay, I can commit to like doing this thing on Saturday nights, even though it's new, and I can get other people that I'm friends with to commit to do it too, because they have nothing else going on in their life. I'm like the center of the universe. Come on.
Of
But
course.
yes, it is so underrated fun, and this is gonna sound shady towards like anybody who plays curling, but like you don't need to be athletic in any way, shape, or form to be like
No.
a rec curler.
100%. Because I feel like with other rec sports, like I know
Like
like
kickball.
kickball or softball teams or something like that, I feel like I would rather die than hit a bat with a ball. Like I just feel like that is so much pressure. But like, I don't know, curling is really like low pressure, super fun. I could totally join like a beer league.
And that's the best part. The best part is when you finish, you go broom stacking, which is when you
Ooh,
get drinks.
I love that. I did know the lingo when you dropped hack and stone.
Oh,
Like I learned stuff. So yeah,
so
it's
yeah, this is
super, super
Tori and
fun.
I's recommendation for all of you out there to join a rec curling league. And bonus points if you name it like Ready to Be Petty or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yes. And also, if you're a curler, like slide into the DMs. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk tactics.
Yeah, yes. Strategy. The other thing that you and I have been really doing this winter.
That's also not really your brand.
No, 0%. But maybe it kind of is also. We've been listening to Mason Ramsey. And I am like so sad to say that this isn't even the first Mason Ramsey mention on this fucking podcast.
It's not.
Like, because Nick and I, like, I feel like years ago at this point, talked about how you told me when Lonely came out by Justin Bieber,
Mhm.
because Scooter Braun manages Justin Bieber famously and Mason Ramsey,
Not as famously.
not like not as famously. We talked about how Lonely, when it was released, was subconsciously using yodeling in this song to get more people into Mason Ramsey.
And I was like sure of this conspiracy theory at the
Like,
time that I
what the
said it to you. Like
fuck?
there was very few things I was more confident about on that
No,
podcast
no.
than that comment. So then every time Mason Rams would come up, I'd actually think about how like Justin Bieber tried to kickstart yodeling and like it just didn't happen for him. And ironically, right before Tori and I started listening to like his new album, I had saw on Twitter like TikTok of him working at like Subway or something, and I was like, "Yep,
I
okay, Justin Bieber didn't do him enough. Like this man is back to the everyday grind. R.I.P."
literally
So
RIP.
then I realized that in the video where he's making a Subway sub, it's actually his song. So then
Yes.
I was, and then it just like took off. In Tori and I's
Yes.
world, anyway.
Yes, yes. Okay, I like how you're like, oh, I saw this TikTok. It's like, Nick, I sent you that TikTok, didn't I? Like, because, okay, so the song, what's his song? The one that's like a TikTok trend.
It's the one that's like holding out doors, holding your hand. I never thought I'd do it, or I forget the
It's
lyrics, but it's
before I knew
essentially
it.
that. Yeah, before I knew it. And the worst part, can I shit talk that song a little bit? Because like as much as
Duh.
like I have like been jamming to it,
Yeah, me too.
the song was clearly like a toss away from another country artist. Because this boy is like
100%.
14 years old. Like he's not like going
100%.
to work and making a salary to support any relationship.
Nick, don't like don't shit on his Subway career. You douche. Like,
It's not me shitting on Subway. It's like when I was 14, I didn't have a job, and I know that's like not like maybe that's like common or not common, but like if you have a job at 14, you're getting that job for yourself. You're not like,
yeah,
okay, I'm gonna go get a job
for
and I'm
my
gonna
wife and
like
kids.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You're completely right. He had an album. They needed 8 songs or whatever. They had 6 that were appropriate for like a fucking 13-year-old. And then they just grabbed one from the
Yeah,
catalog.
really.
He's
And it's a jam.
15. This is so embarrassing. Like, so embarrassing. It's so good. I listen to it unironically now. And like, I put it on in my car and I'm like putting on a show.
The best part about the Mason Ramsey songs is like you can actually keep up with the vocals in it.
Like, what are you saying, that you're like good, as good as
No,
him?
I'm I'm saying that it's not like I'm trying to like run down Beyonce.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
it's not like
yeah.
I'm trying to keep up with like Love on Top or like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not trying to like
yeah.
keep pace with like a rapper who's like words I can't say or he just goes too quick or they go too quick. Like with Mason Ramsey, I could be like, "Cause I was holding your hand." Like I can do that. I can be fake Southern for 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
100%. And like, this is a viral TikTok song because it's like the perfect TikTok sound where it's like 20 seconds and it describes exactly what the person's doing, like going to work, getting off early, etc. So like, I thought it was like in good fun that he made his own TikTok with him working at Subway.
Oh my god, Tori, I didn't even notice this song is from 2019. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think, well, okay, that's the thing, Nick, is it came out on his album that like didn't do well and he's now working at Subway. I just want to say, like, as much as like I would be mortified, like if I was him, I would like literally ghost the internet. Like I would remove everything. Like I would go into the like witness protection program if I had a career and like one of the biggest music producers or like managers or whatever, and then like I didn't make it, I would, yeah, join witness protection. But like, honestly, good for him. Like, he's taking the higher road that I would not take, where he's just like, you know what? I'm a normal kid. I have a normal job and I'm like in school. I can make fun of myself with this TikTok sound.
he's really not any different than any of the like forgotten Disney stars who didn't make
How
it but like
dare
gave it a
you?
go.
How fucking dare you? Yeah,
No,
100.
but
Like
seriously.
Jordan Pruitt. Where's she at?
But didn't Jordan Pruitt have like a jam?
She
I'm
did, and
familiar
then
with her name, not her
she
work.
had to go on The Voice in like 2018.
This is the voice. See, I was gonna compare him to like Mitchell Musso.
Okay, why was he like my type back in the day?
Because he looks eerily similar to other people in your type.
Yeah, that's fair. Ugh, that hair, like I would literally rather vom than look at that haircut ever again. Anything else you want to say about Mason Ramsey before we move on to some other big news that I want to talk about?
No, just go like check out his stuff. You know
Yeah.
what it is? Take it as like a lesson that we learned from Friday by Rebecca Black, where like you listen to it and you're like, ironically, this is good because it's just
Yes.
so bad. It's like good. And then you Stockholm syndrome yourself into liking it.
100%. I just feel like it might be like, unless something else comes out wild this like spring summer, it might be my like song of the summer.
I could see it. Like this could be a beach song.
100%. Like a boating song.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think that my favorite genre of music though is songs that are so bad that they're unironically good. Like last night or 2 nights ago, you sent me lyrics to Hannah Montana's One in a Million, I think it was.
No, it
No.
was
Smooth talking.
slow
So
rocking. He's
got
got he could be the one.
he could be the
He's
one.
got everything that a girl's want.
Guitar cutie. Okay, I've also sung way too much on this podcast lately. People are gonna hate that. So yeah, so we like bad music. I think we should just admit it to ourselves. We also like really good music, but also really bad music.
Mainly the bad stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I also like really bad movies. And
Shocker. No thoughts here. It's like you like the crappy TV shows too.
Okay, wow. Okay, so on the last episode that I had Nick on, we talked about the After series. And I'm pretty sure live on the pod, I was like, okay, this is a trilogy, but it's actually going to be a quintuplet, which I literally forgot about until I saw something on Twitter being like the fourth After movie is coming out. And I had completely forgotten. Are you going to watch? Did you keep up?
I can't even lie. No, I certainly did not. I think the last time I was here, we talked about
how you
the
didn't.
first two.
Yeah.
The first two.
Yeah. I think you watched the first one.
I gave it an honest try on the first one. Like, I really gave it a go. I can't believe that sustained a sequel and then a trilogy and then what is it, like a series? Is it officially a series when you hit 4?
5 movies is
Twilight,
insane.
Right?
Twilight was 4 plus they broke the second one into 5. Who the fuck is watching this movie? Well, I am, but like who else in the entire world is watching that movie? DM me if you've seen or read this series. I'm dying to know. I don't know who's sustaining it, but like the actors in the third one, like the press for the third one, looked dead inside. And it was giving me major Kissing Booth 3 vibes when Jacob Elordi looked like he was being held for ransom during the press tour.
So the thing with this is like, I don't know how I as an actor would like feel about this. Like, am I just going to keep making the movies because it's like a sustainable income that I'm like, okay, well, I can count on the fact that I'm going to have another movie for this like next year? Or would it feel like, is this where the height of my career is and just like fall apart? Like,
so other actors have been in this, but like if they get offered other movies and TV, I feel like they like end up backing out. But I feel like they've stayed because they're like not getting any like other offers.
They have to be. They have to be. But I don't know, because let's be honest, the movies are extremely low quality in all of the ways.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No. Okay, fucking Dylan Sprouse was in
the
the second one. Or the third one.
Sad. And that's sad.
Yeah.
Like, he was definitely the more popular Sprouse brother back in the day. So, like,
yeah.
Rough stuff.
Yeah, and he had to wear glasses.
The nerdification of Dylan Sprouse.
Yeah. Literally.
I say as you're wearing glasses right now.
I know, but like, I'm not like the competing love interest in a fucking movie. It's Sunday and it's like raining outside and I'm in sweatpants. Like,
I don't think there's really like much to say about it. I feel like it's one step below being like a regular on the Hallmark Christmas movie circuit.
Yeah.
Like if I was like a regular on the Hallmark movie circuit, it's like, okay, well at least I can sustain this career for like 15 years and make, you know, a handful of movies that I get a paycheck of probably 6 figures on the reg.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing because like at least like your grandparents or like sad people or people who just want like very easy storylines are watching the Christmas ones. Like, let's not act like there's a niche for that. Like, who's the niche for this? Like, people who want like the knockoff version of Harry Styles and people who read Wattpad.
Yeah. So me. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I just think also like it's filled a need. I guess so did like the Kissing Booth, but like of this kind of like young adult book to movie like genre that I feel like is like untapped.
No, so that is a much better point. The young adult series these days feel like they have fallen off the earth. Like they tried with like Divergent, right? But did Divergent fall apart?
Okay, and we're gonna talk about the fucking star of Divergent in a hot min. Divergent didn't even get, I think, a sequel or the third book, even though it should have.
And they also tried like Percy Jackson, but I think that fell off the rails too.
Yeah.
Because they did so poorly with. I've never read those books, but for people who have, they did not like the movies.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and is there like even like what's the new hot like I should know this young adult movie or a book series right now? Is it like One of Us is Lying? Like I know I've seen like my students read those. I've read the first one of those, but like
maybe that sounds familiar.
is there even like a young adult series that's like hip and in? Like even Pretty Little Liars, like a decade ago, like that was a book series
Yeah,
translated to
that I
TV.
read. It's like remake the clique or like
I don't even think they make stuff for people who are in that like preteen, early high school age bracket anymore. Because I think they're just like, okay, well, they have like content creators that they drift to on like
right.
YouTube or on TikTok, or they're just watching like things that are above their maturity level.
Yeah, like
And then if they try to,
Euphoria.
yep, if they try to cater something to them, it's like, here's talking animals.
Yeah, that's actually a legitimate point because I was listening to a podcast today that was discussing like does a teen go to like the movies anymore? It's like no, they probably just watch like TikTok and like Netflix and stuff and
So
YouTube.
I ask my students like all the time. Every Monday, I'll be like, "How's everybody's weekend? Anybody do anything particularly fun this weekend?" And you get a lot of blank stares, and you get, "I slept." And then on Friday, I'll be like, "Anybody doing anything fun this weekend? Like anybody like doing literally anything?" I'm like, "Let's kill the first few minutes of class time to like ease in. I'm gonna nap." Like, oh my god, does nobody do anything? But like, obviously, they're probably just not sharing because like,
Yeah,
who wants to share?
with the teacher.
But yeah, no, like I don't think that really go to the movies anymore. Some of
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
odd.
Odd, but I'm really missing that like genre because that's the type of movies like
I was gonna say that's your brand.
like where's the next a Cinderella story?
Oh, the first one of those Hillary Duff is a legitimately good movie,
That's what I'm saying. Like
and like
fuck.
all the like rom coms now suck too. Like anybody who'd made the decision to put Owen Wilson and J Lo in a rom com, like I wish I could be that delusional.
Oh my god.
Like
Okay.
nobody wants to see J Lo with Owen Wilson.
Literally, okay, I was literally thinking that today. Jennifer Lopez and Jennifer Lopez movies are amazing. Like her type of rom-com is like The Wedding Planner, Made in Manhattan, like Chef's Kiss Perfection. I cannot watch Marry Me because for some reason I hate Owen Wilson.
No, I'm kind of the same way. Like, not that I would watch that movie anyway, but like I am not a fan of Owen Wilson, and I don't really know why.
I
I don't
just
know if
like
it's like
see his like greasy blonde like
yeah,
straggly hair and I literally can't even imagine him dating J-Lo and I'm like you couldn't have got like Matthew
it's not. That's what it is.
McConaughey.
It's not believable. It's not
No,
believable in
it's
any
not.
way.
No.
Which is unfortunate because like there are some rom coms that are legit like good movies for people who don't even like rom coms. Like
Yeah.
I will go down saying like The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock is like one of the greater movies I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah,
Like that
literally.
hits almost every time you watch it. Like it's
Yeah,
just a jam in all the
totally.
ways.
I
So
just watched I Want You Back on Amazon Prime and it was cute.
that's our plug. So
There you
hit
go.
hit Tori and I up with either like good new rom coms like within the last like let's say we'll say last 4 years,
Yeah.
or like good teen
Movies.
movie series
Yeah.
or like young adult things.
Like
So
decom originals, but like
oh my god, the Disney Channel also have fallen off. Like, is there any stars coming out of there?
no, but let's talk
Oh well,
about
there's
that.
one. I guess there's one.
Yes, there's one. So today we're going to talk about High School Musical, the musical of the series. Shailene Woodley, the aforementioned star of Divergent, and Aaron Rodgers. I was going to say Alex Rodriguez because we were just talking about J-Lo. No idea. We're going to talk about Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn. They are apparently engaged.
Ooh.
And then we've got our Pettyweight Champion and This Week in Petty. Let's dive into it. High School Musical, the musical, the series. I think we've covered this on the pod. I didn't even like look it up. I'm sure we did.
No, we did because I binge watched the entire first season for us to
I
talk about
know,
it on the
you're
pod.
such a good guest. And like, I feel like I ask you so much of you. And then, but you didn't watch season 2.
I had no qualms with the first season of the show. Like it could have been so much better. Let me just rant for like a side note
Yeah.
here. I don't understand why TV shows that are very clearly catered towards young adults don't just be young adult TV shows. Like I don't understand like why they try to make these kid shows and then keep them kid shows. Like your audience is going to be like the people who are nostalgic for that stuff, right? So let's use the Lizzie McGuire like unfulfilled remake. Like Lizzie McGuire, what's her Hillary Duff?
Hilary Duff.
So Hillary Duff like fought with the Disney production team because she was like, this needs to be more mature, right? And they were like, no, we can't do that. So they scrapped it. And then they remake this High School Musical, the musical, the series, with obviously younger, they're high school age students, but the show doesn't ever like dig into like what would make it a more enjoyable like adult comedy. Like
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least like do things like let them swear or have like more nuanced comedy that it just like completely lacks. Like it could have been so much better, but I did think the first season was fine. I enjoyed watching it, and at the time I had planned on watching season two.
Yeah.
I just never got around to it by the like month later that it happened. But there's other shows that's like why can't you make like a comedy that's like for kids, but it also is like hitting on that like Modern Family or like a New Girl or like those types of like adult comedy shows. Because did you watch the iCarly readaptation?
No, which we've talked about on this pod too, and I'm shook that I haven't. It's kind of on my list because are you gonna say that they did a good job of this? Because that's what I've heard online.
So I did rewatch it, and I think that it took them a while to found their groove with it. But like once they found their groove, it was like, okay, this part is what I want from the show, where it feels like I'm watching like these childhood characters like grown up and having like adult things going on in their lives. I don't think they were perfect with it in the first season. I think they're still kind of like riding the rocky wave, but I really enjoyed it, which is really not what I was expecting after I watched the pilot episode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it did find its groove in the season, and I think that did it really well. So I was frustrated when like High School Musical, the musical series, didn't, and then did not hear really much of any positives about season two. So I was like, not gonna tune in.
Yeah, that's so fair. So are you saying that you think that it shouldn't have been set in high school?
No, because I think it has to be, because you're obviously not going to get Zac Efron to come back and do it. He has way better
Mm-hmm.
things going on in his life, unlike some other old Disney Channel stars.
Wow.
But like, you make the show for the people who are watching it, and just
Yeah.
like give a little bit like more, or like focus on like maybe some of like the adult characters more, and kind of cut
Yeah.
back on some of the
Yeah.
like kid characters, because then you can kind of toe the line of like you don't want kids doing like weird comedy that's not appropriate for like their age group, but like
Yeah.
you
Cough, cough,
could if you
euphoria.
yes. um so it didn't hit the way that I really would have liked for it to. Um and let's be honest, like Olivia Rodrigo should not go back on that show. Like that show should
No.
die a very quick death, the way that Sunny with a Chance did after Demi Lovato left.
Yeah.
Like when they left the show had to completely rebrand because nobody was tuning into it. And after one season of knockoff SNL, they were done.
Yes.
High School Musical, the musical series, should do that too. I can't even imagine how much Disney Plus is like backing into Olivia Rodrigo's driveway to keep her on for another season.
Well, I'm shook. Well, you would have seen in season 2, there's like a lot of times where she's like on FaceTime. Because she was
I
like
wonder if
clearly
that's
off
COVID
doing other
related.
stuff. It could have been, but she like, yeah, went to that other school and then just like was gone half the season. So like all of her scenes were like by herself or like on FaceTime with characters. So it's like, was she even really there? And they've definitely shifted the focus where it's like Nene and whatever Joshua Bassett's character, like that
Ricky, I remember that
Ricky,
Ricky.
yes, that's how like much I was rooting for them. Can't even remember his name. Ricky and Nene were obviously the two central characters, like Troy and Gabriella, in the first season, but they definitely in second season like were more focused on the ensemble cast than just those two. So I thought that that was interesting. I do really agree with you because it is weird that it's like a very teen show, but like I'm not even talking about like teen like 17 or 18. It's like for like 13-year-olds. Cuz I was like thinking pretty sure some of them are like seniors in high school, but they're like playing board games at parties and drinking like pop and chips and stuff. Like
Hmm.
I was not doing that in high school.
So I surely was.
Yeah,
But
yes.
like that's not like high top tier entertaining for a TV show. And there's ways you can do it. Like so TV shows are only as good as their ensemble cast is sometimes, because you have to like pull those characters like into the fold. But the best types of shows are the ones where like as like a cliche as it is, like those shows like Friends, or I never watched How I Met Your Mother, or like New Girl, like they have like a constant like five or six, and those characters are the ones that all play off each other, and they're like the main focus, and then they rope in some others like as they go along. It doesn't really work as well when you're kind of trying to like get a lot of stuff moving on. I don't know. It should be geared more towards the 18 age group than it should be geared towards like a Disney Channel
Yeah.
show.
But then now that
And
I'm
even the stuff with the adults is cringe.
Ugh, it's so cringe. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, wouldn't the people that are like starving for High School Musical nostalgia, like us in our 20s, like, wouldn't we want a different show? Like, would I ever be happy with a high school show? Like, I don't even know at this point.
Yeah, no, I think like you're right for that, but it also is weird because like the draw of the first season, we're spending way too much time
Oh, it's
talking about this
way like this
series.
in-depth analysis. Like,
Like the
okay.
focus of the first season is like they're doing the High School Musical, which they didn't
Yes.
even do well. I'm sorry, they didn't even do it well.
No, and they only showed the opening night, and it was like a
Yeah, and
joke.
it was like a one night show. Like
Yes,
it what? No,
the spring
no,
musicale.
no,
Like,
no.
oh my god.
It seems weird that in season two they then pivoted and did like Beauty and the Beast.
Don't you
Like,
just do High School Musical
yeah, you do High
2?
School Musical 2, and then season 3 you do High School Musical 3,
And then you
and then
end.
you wrap it up.
Yes, and then you end the show. I know. I was like livid when they chose Beauty and the Beast. And also with Beauty and the Beast, they sung like 2 of their songs, and then the rest were like original songs. And like, no offense, but their original songs are not bangers.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even the music that comes out of Disney Channel, like, is not.
Nowadays, no, it hits different.
Y'all are Disney. You can afford to hire like quality musical writers. Like
Well,
this show, like,
is Kenny Ortega on this?
he is 10 years past his prime if he is.
Okay, that's so brutal. Okay, let's talk about what they have planned for season 3. They chose Frozen as the musical. So they're just, again, trying to capitalize on like Disney shit, which is fine. And then they're going to do some High School Musical. Plot twist, they're also going to add in Camp Rock songs because they are going to be
Ooh,
spending their summer at like a singing summer camp.
we love that
Camp
tie-in.
Shallow Lake.
And
So
why? What like Camp Rock? Like that like is I don't know, I like Camp Shadow, like who is designing these names?
I don't know. This is the funny thing is Camp Rock was the next movie after High School Musical, and they were
Yeah,
trying to capitalize on the exact same shit that was so successful for High School Musical, and it wasn't. Like
Camp
top
Rock has
tier.
not aged
No, top
well.
tier movie in like 2006 or whatever, but like nowadays like it's like just a bunch of TikTok like jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that is so it's just such a weird pivot plus like 3 completely different musical
Mhm.
like Camp Rock is like
And why are we doing Frozen at the
summer
summer
camp. It makes
camp?
no sense. It pisses me
Shouldn't
off
they have
so
just done
much.
Camp Rock? Shouldn't they have just committed to redoing Camp Rock?
Literally. And then
Commit to the bit.
yes, maybe that's what they should have done is just like they remake decom musicals. Okay,
Or like
here
the Cinderella story. Oh, let's see. Yeah, they flopped. They flopped. They
yeah,
dropped the
it
bag.
just makes me upset because like High School Musical holds a special place in my heart, and this reboot is just like the Sex and the City reboot. It's just like so tragic.
Oh, did that end poorly?
Yeah, that's all I can say at this time.
But they're
Here's
also having some other people like come back, which seems like
yes.
wildly out of character for the show.
Yes, I don't even know where to begin with this because this is another country star that has been mentioned more than once on this podcast, which is honestly kind of a sham. Jason Earls from Hannah Montana is joining the season. What are your thoughts?
Who asked for this? That's my first thought. Is like,
That
why are
man.
you pulling him out of the woodwork? You know what's kind of funny about this? And I was actually thinking about this the other day while I was driving after we had said, like, okay, we're going to talk about a little bit about High School Musical, the series. And did you ever watch Big Time Rush? I know that was like a Nickelodeon
Yes.
show. Okay, so all I can think is like, okay, so any of like the younger stars, right? What do you think their reaction is to like booking like that type of like gig where you're going to be like on a singing show? Like if you're a younger star, you book that gig.
Like Big
What are
Time
what
Rush
are your
or
like emotions
you're
for it?
excited
Yeah, why? Why are you excited for it?
because fame.
Yeah, right. You're like, okay, this is my stepping stone to like
Yes.
launch a career because I've watched
Yes.
people like Miley Cyrus do it. I've watched people like Ariana Grande do it, or I've watched people have maybe not like as successful careers, but like they continue a career. Like I don't know that girl's name, Jade from Victorious. Like she is
Yes.
like a full adult on that Netflix show, I
Yes.
think. Right?
Not
Like
Netflix, CW.
okay, yeah.
Yes.
And even Emily Osment, like Emily Osment had like her ABC Family. Like these people continue careers as a launch pad from Disney Channel. Like even like obviously Selena Gomez, like now like a fully fledged like everything. So when you book it when you're younger, it's like yes, excitement is my launch pad. When you come back when you're like in your 40s, and this is why I bring Big Time Rush into it, is they had like that like the manager, right? Like when he books that gig is like I'm the manager on this kids TV show Big Time Rush, or I'm Jason Earls and I booked this gig for season 3 of High School Musical, the musical, the series. Like your emotion for it is like, yeah, I'm settling. Like, yep, like
This,
this is my career.
again,
It's such
as
a blow.
it is such a blow. Again, if I was Jason Earls or Mason Ramsey, I would be signing up for witness protection. Because there's too many people praying for my downfall and it's
And Jason Earls
working.
has to have enough money to like
Oh,
be able to do that.
I looked up his net worth. I have no fucking
Oh,
idea why. Celebrity net worth reports that he's worth roughly $8 million. There is no fucking way that this loser owns $8 million.
But like Hannah Montana ran 8 seasons, and when Hannah Montana left Disney Channel, it was easily like their biggest show of all time.
Of all time.
Like,
And
like
same with
they
High
got
School
a
Musical
movie
in
gig, yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Yes.
Like they
Yeah.
got like a full on movie gig out of it. I remember that last season was like Hannah Montana forever. Like it was like an experience. But I would not be surprised if he did get like a shit ton of money for playing that role. I don't know what else he has done.
Nothing.
I feel like he should have more than $8 million. Like, does he not know how to invest? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to
That's a
invest,
good
but I'm
point.
not even the age he was when he started on Hannah Montana. So, like,
But
who was his manager?
you're right though. So High School Musical 3 aired in theaters. That's how big it was. Like the first 2 were on TV and then the third one was in theaters. I watched it in theaters. Hannah
Ooh.
Montana had her tour and her movie also in theaters. Like that's how big it surpassed television.
I watched High School Musical 3 on a pirated DVD when I was sick from school. I have like a vivid memory of it.
The only pirated DVD I had was of Twilight. And I put it on my iPod mini. It was purple and I would watch it every night before bed.
On like that like 1 inch by 1 inch screen.
Yes.
Oh my lord.
Yes. Yes. It was probably 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. It was so
Well, that makes
small.
sense because nobody would want to go out of their way to like buy Twilight.
Fair. So Jason Earls was 28 when he was on Hannah Montana. Miley was 13 and they played
This
siblings.
is well documented.
Well documented. He's now 44 and he's going to be playing the character Dewey Wood, the Killjoy camp director at Camp Shallow Lake.
Dewey Wood?
Yeah.
What type of name is that? So first of all, like, is it like camp themed? Like Dewey Wood? Like
I think
wood
so.
that's in a forest is like dewy
Misty,
in the morning.
yes.
But I also don't like like the imagery of that.
No, I don't love that either. Apparently, he has been working on High School Musical, the series. This is probably why it's such a flop for both seasons as an acting coach.
Can we also just sorry to like backtrack for
No,
seconds.
that's okay.
Can we talk about the character design of the Killjoy camp director? Who wants to watch that type of character? Like that's such
I know,
a
but
basic...
also I feel like that's like a stretch for Jason Earls because he's supposed to be like the
Yeah.
laughing stock, like falls in the sand type of character.
You know what? Maybe this is a step forward for him because he's getting to try out some different acting hats. Maybe this is where he really should have been the entire time. He gets a more serious role.
Yeah, maybe
Dewey
he's
Wood.
like extraordinary as like a hard ass, and he just like he was really bad because
He
it
better
was too
not have that Owen
campy.
Wilson haircut.
Oh my god!
Did you just say he's too campy?
It was not on purpose. I swear to God. But yeah, that motherfucking haircut that Owen Wilson, Mitchell Musso, and Jason Earls had. Oh,
Let's not
God.
forget Justin Bieber had it for a hot second there, too.
I know, but he's hot. There's
a rumor has it Mitchell Musso was your type.
Fucking barely. I think my type is attainable hot, I feel like.
Yeah,
which he isn't.
Jason
He's
Earls-
just like straight up an uggo. But like
Jason Earls and Owen Wilson are not attainable because they're out of your age bracket.
yeah, he's fucking
That's the difference.
44. Jesus Christ. There's another famous Disney Channel star joining the cast as well, Corbin Bleu. But he gets to play himself. So
he's a cameo.
yeah, so he gets to play Corbin Bleu himself. Do you think that's embarrassing that it's like Jason Earls is so unknown that he has to be Dewey Wood, but Corbin Bleu just gets to stroll in and be himself?
So I was thinking about this a lot, and my first reaction was like, yes, that's really embarrassing. But then I'm like, okay, well, Corbin Bleu gets to play himself because Corbin Bleu starred in High School Musical, the
Oh
movie.
yeah. Yeah,
So like
good point.
it makes more sense that he gets to. But then I'm thinking about it, like, how embarrassing is it that you have to play yourself? Because like there's people writing lines for you to say as yourself, and like Corbin Bleu, you probably wouldn't say any of that. If I was Corbin Bleu, I'd be like, I will come on, but I get to freestyle everything because I'm acting as myself. Like, what is it like? Okay, I'm Corbin Bleu playing the character of Corbin Bleu, and now I have to like think about how I would say this, but I'm saying this line that some other person wrote for me.
What do you think is his role? Like, is he coming in as just like a guest instructor to
Is he
show them
a
how to
main
dance?
character?
I have no idea. There's been like no other details released, but like Ryan from High School Musical and Casey. Ryan played Sharpay's brother, whose my name is blanking, which is like so embarrassing. Is it Ryan? No.
Yeah, no, it is Ryan.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know the real actor's name
It's
then.
Sharpay and Ryan.
Yes, you're right. Okay, duh. So Ryan is on the show, and then he was like in that dream sequence in season one. And then
Yeah.
Casey is the hip hopper, the
She's
pop and
pop and
lock.
lock and well,
Yes.
is Ryan's character still on the show?
No, he was just in like one dream
Oh.
sequence. And then Casey was a guest, but they didn't say it was her. So she was pretending to be like a PTA mom. So it's just so weird because it's like, well, then if Corbin Bleu enters the HSM universe in this way, then that
Mhm.
means that Casey would also have had to play herself. It's
I don't know. I'm sure Corbin Bleu will be like a mentor to Nini or something, since she's the one who can actually launch a career.
literally. Let's wrap up with that. Olivia Rodrigo just announced that she's having a Disney Plus docu about the making of Sour. Will you be watching that?
Um, let's be honest, probably not. But like, if I get like really bored one night and I'm like, ugh, I need to find something to watch, like I could.
Yeah, I that's the same with
If it
me.
hits on the drama of like the Joshua Bassett, like that will draw me in. But like if it's just like
Yes.
her like singing, like not that I dislike her singing at all. Like a lot of her songs are jams, but like I don't know if I would tune in quite yet for just that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is I'd want it to be more of a Taylor Swift like Miss Americana type documentary than I would want it to be like the
Long
Long Pond
Pond.
session.
Yes.
I'm gonna stress that it was a session, not sessions.
A singular session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. This is actually the first time I'm learning about this.
Nice,
So,
nice. I actually think I will watch because, like, even if she doesn't specifically mention Josh Bassett, if she mentions a guy that's the inspo, I'll just
oh well, duh.
assume it's
Yeah.
Josh Bassett. So I like that. The other thing that I'm really curious about is so after Sour was released, she had to give writing credits to Taylor Swift for
One step forward
no,
or
she
three steps
she
back or
gave
something.
she had
Oh,
given her credit for that. It was the one that sounds like Cruel Summer. Good for
oh, Deja
you.
Vu.
Oh, Deja
Deja
Vu.
Vu.
Yes, thank you.
Good for you is definitely Misery's business.
Yes,
Misery
okay. And then
business.
she had to give writing credits to Haley Williams for Misery Business and Good for You. So that was something I also am interested to see is like, will it be obvious that those were inspired or like is that going to be mentioned because that is like I feel like a huge part of the Sour legacy.
I think it has to be. Like I and if I'm Disney Plus, I'm thinking like, okay, well we need to at least like get her to like say something about like this situation to draw people in from all different areas. And even if it's not like a main focus, I can see it being like a short bit.
Yeah,
Unless they're worried they're gonna get sued, in which case they'll steer
that's true.
away.
Honestly, I've talked myself into watching it.
Good for you.
Yeah, like
Good
not
for
like
you.
like not like on its premiere date, but like I'll add it to my list for when I like need something to watch.
And then 3 years later, you'll start it.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah, I'll read like many articles and watch many TikToks on it and then I'll watch it.
So the last bit of note that I have here, and I just read it over, was something that I left myself like a week ago, and it's pretty funny, and I just needed to make the air, so laugh with me, Tori.
Yes, please.
Is when I had found out from you that High School Musical the musical series is doing Frozen the musical, I had wrote back and I said, "Oh my God, Joshua Bassett singing 'Let It Go,' the undertones of it all." Like, I feel like that needs to be stressed, that if he is singing Let It Go to, like, Nene, oh my god, that would be a moment.
Holy shit. And I
I
feel
still won't
like
watch, but
yeah, like I'll YouTube that scene for sure. Yeah, I feel like they should capitalize on that relationship demise way more than they did in
yeah.
season 2.
Again, missteps all over the place.
100%. Okay, the next thing we wanted to talk about was Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers. They broke up this week.
Oh,
I know everyone was so
sad.
shook. Did you ever see them making it to the altar?
No. I mean, the entirety of that relationship felt, I don't want to say like a sham, because I don't know if it like felt like a sham, but it was, okay, so it was on the tailwinds of, and I know this, it was on the tailwinds of him and Danica Patrick's relationship, because one of the very first things I actually remember hearing about the pandemic is how Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick almost got like stuck in Bolivia or Ecuador or somewhere in South America, that they were like running to make their plane, and it was literally like one of the last planes out of South America before COVID to get them back to like the US. And then him and Danica Patrick broke out of almost nowhere. Danica Patrick was definitely like shady about it on socials at the time. I remember that. And then all of a sudden it was like, is Aaron Rodgers dating Shailene Woodley? And then less than a year later, they were engaged, which
So
felt
random.
whack.
So random.
Even the way they announced it was like, didn't they announce it like a Zoom call or on like
No,
a red carpet? It was very odd.
he was doing an interview and he was
Yeah,
just
and
like,
he
shout out to my like fiance.
fiance,
Yeah.
and then the like entirety of their relationship, wasn't she like in LA essentially, and he was in Green Bay?
Yeah.
Like, the whole
100%.
thing. The whole thing felt very odd, and then the way she would like was like continuously like protecting him in the media was like cringe to the sense it was like, okay, well maybe they like are, because maybe she's like delusional. And I feel like there was a lot of quotes out there about her being like, or about the two of them, as he started to say some extremely questionable things about. Shailene has said that they have just agreed to disagree when it comes to politics, which like that's a whole different conversation, but I don't know if you can do that this day and age unless like both people in the relationship just like don't care for politics at all.
Yeah, because
But like,
the subtext of when you say you have differing opinions on politics is usually you have different values,
mhm,
which is like a really big deal in a relationship.
yeah.
And you're totally right. Like, she basically, I feel like, sewered her career in the past year, sticking up for him and his very shady, like, situation. But then in the last couple months, she did start to distance herself. And I was like, the end is near.
So that's why the whole thing felt weird, because like I don't honestly don't know really much of anything about Shailene Woodley's acting career other than the fact that she was on The Secret Life of the American Teenager. And even as I
Classic.
say that, I'm like, let me be right about that.
Yeah.
And I know she was like, the like poor woman's version of like Jennifer Lawrence in the Hunger Games with her and her Divergent career. Like nobody really cared, but like that
No.
was your thing. And I don't know what she's done since then, but I actually know her because didn't she like go to the like pipeline like protest or something and get
She
like
is like,
arrested?
yeah, I
She's
feel like she
like
is an environmentalist or
yeah,
like
she's like one of
whatever.
those like actors who like stop acting and then like do something else, and like her
Yeah.
like passion so much became more on like activism for the environment. Or I just felt like that was her realm, but maybe I'm wrong as somebody who knows very little about Shailene Woodley. So when her and Aaron Rodgers started dating, in some ways it was like, okay, is this like a PR thing? Because like he's, I mean, and I know not for like people who aren't like sports fans in America, but like even if you're not a sports fan, like Aaron Rodgers is somebody you're probably familiar with.
Absolutely.
Um, that it's like, okay, well, is it like a PR thing for like both of them to kind of like show, because nobody likes Aaron Rodgers in terms of like his
No.
like family. Like there's a
No.
lot of like drama there. So it's like, okay, like getting Aaron Rodgers with somebody makes him look good for like his camp of people. And like for her, it's like, okay, well, like this is PR because you're gonna be with somebody super famous and like all that nonsense. But yeah, then it felt like it just got things got really weird between them. So no, I was not expecting them to make it to the altar until she started like defending him, and I was like, oh, she's off her rocker too, so they're good for each
Yes,
other.
that's what I
Um,
thought. Because I thought like it was classic PR. And then, yeah, she was like defending his bad choices. And then I was like, okay, she must actually like him because you wouldn't do this if you
yeah,
didn't. But then she that's not the case. It
Yeah.
was also like sources cited for their breakup. The reason was busy schedules, which is like very classic PR relationship.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh,
Yeah,
we were just
exactly.
busy. So that is kind of suspect to me. But my favorite headline that has come out of this breakup is Shailene Woodley has ended her campaign to force me to know who Aaron Rodgers is.
That does feel like a you. It
It's
feels like it's
very
targeted at
me.
you.
Yes, it's very me because he has come up so much in my pop culture world with
I was
The Bachelor.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I was like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is somebody who, oddly enough, has transcended like this like
Yes.
pop culture and sportsy like vibe because of all the drama with his brother on The Bachelor. And can I
Yes.
just tell you, I think I've actually may have talked about Aaron Rodgers before on your podcast. Like, I was starting to get worried there for like a hot minute that I was actually wrong on thinking that Aaron Rodgers was a douche. And I was starting to think like, oh my god, is his family the ones like really hard and they're trying to like feast off of his like fame? Because let it be
Yes.
known that I do not like Jordan Rogers. I think that's unpopular opinion in the Batch universe.
Yeah.
But I was not a fan of his on that like brief stint on The Bachelorette that I watched. So I was like, oh my god, like, am I am I wrong about Aaron Rodgers? Am I gonna have to admit that I'm wrong about Aaron Rodgers? And like just as this was like starting to crack thoughts in my brain, Aaron Rodgers started showing that he was a douchebag with like, oh, I have never felt more validated by it because now I'm like, yes, I was right. Like, it wasn't just me being like a hater. So this came at the perfect time.
Literally, I kind of had the same trajectory because I was first introduced to Aaron Rodgers through Jordan Rodgers when he was a contestant on The Bachelorette. And I was like, okay, you're on The Bachelorette, so you're fame hungry.
Yes.
You want your broadcasting career because you're a washed up football player.
Yep.
Like, you don't speak with your brother, which is sus.
And all of your family like shit talks him on The Bachelor,
All
like
the
in
time.
public.
Like he didn't show up to their like hometown date, etc. And then I was like, okay, well, obviously Aaron cut him off because he's like a leech. And then all of this has come out.
Mhm.
Oops.
Yep. Yep. I was. Well, it was iffy
I've
there.
honestly softened towards. I didn't really like him on JoJo's season, but like they've been together now for like 5 or 6 years, and like I kind of have softened on him.
I will say I definitely thought that he was like the guy's name is Jed. I hate that I know so much about The Bachelor despite having watched literally one full season like a decade ago. But yeah, I thought he was much more like schmoozing to like either be the next Bachelor and start his
Exactly.
career that way, or like schmoozing to get picked so that people loved him and he'd make headlines and be in magazines and get his, college football broadcasting gig, and then he would separate from JoJo. But they seem to be legit.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know like anything about him, but the other thing that I like kind of thought was cute is he re-proposed to her with a new ring. I
I
think
just rolled
that's
my eyes so hard at
I know why.
that. I mean, sure. Like,
I thought that
to
was
me,
cute
that's
because it was like this was like basically fake on TV when I didn't know you and I only had these ring options, but this is like for real.
yeah, but that's super cute if I don't know about it.
Oh, I see
It's
what
like
you're
one of
saying.
those things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like the whole Rogers family is odd. But I do now think that I side more with like the Rogers family than Aaron, and I'm starting to think that like I initially thought that like he separated from them because they were what he seems to be showing himself to be. And it looks like maybe it's the other way, and they're like, this man, if he wasn't a football player, would be a cult leader.
Yeah,
Like, I think that's like
yeah.
where we've got.
100%.
And I also hate what Aaron Rodgers looks like now, and I don't want to like be one to shit on appearances, but like he looks like he could be like starring in Alexander Hamilton with his greasy back hair.
What happened? I thought he was like kind of not hot, but like he was like a good looking like guy and he looks
Yeah, he was very.
haggard.
Yeah, he is. Haggard's a great word. Yes, no, he definitely is. He used to have like like the stereotypical like shorter like buzz
Yeah.
cutty like
Yeah.
that type of hair, like, all American type face,
Mhm.
and now he looks like he's like somebody who's like down on his luck and is just like quitting life.
Yeah, it's like gross, like long hair. Yeah, we've really gone so hard on like long, shaggy hair and like unkept looks.
I've always hated anybody who looks like unkept. Like there's very
Yeah.
few. I think guys that can like pull off like
Yeah,
longer
like
hair
Jason
like that.
Momoa. Like,
And Aaron Aaron Rodgers is not one of them.
no,
I don't
no.
think you can do it with like thin hair. I think that might be what it is. Like you need to have like more like curly or some like volume in the hair.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks like you're wearing like
It looks like you just
you're like Davy
accidentally.
Crockett with like a raccoon. That's what you. That's the energy you're exuding. Like go find
Stop.
the Alamo, and let's
Stop.
go.
I literally went to a wedding in like 2015 and I got my hair done at a salon and I thought it looked like Davy Crockett. I'll send you a picture.
I can see Tori Davy Crockett.
I'll send you a picture and I'll post it on socials. It's so fucking bad. It was like a.
Was
I
this right before New Year's? Have we
oh
heard part of this story, or is this another bad haircut
no,
story?
this wasn't a haircut. I just got my hair
Oh.
like professionally done for a wedding. I was a guest at a wedding and I was like, I want to look like
Was
really
it
good.
country themed?
No.
Oh.
It was just normal themed and it looked so bad. And like, you know, when you just like have an idea in your head and you like bring a picture and then you just look like the complete opposite of, you're like, oh, it's not the haircut. It's like
Yep.
my bone structure. Like perfect. Like
Oh yeah, it's not like
something
me, it's
fixable.
the parts of me I can't change. It's not how I'm wearing it, it's just that I can't wear it.
I'm literally dying. Yeah, that was like my exact thought pattern. It
And
was
then the
just
only way to recover from a situation is treating yourself to a nice little like cold drink. Like we'll get through this together, me and my $7 Starbucks coffee.
like literally, I was going on a folklore walk after that. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Maybe that's what Aaron Rodgers needs though. Maybe he just needs like some like reality check. Like now that him and Shailene are no longer together, he's gonna take a hard look at himself in the mirror. He's gonna go get. He probably drinks like black, like hot, like espresso coffee or
Yeah,
something.
100.
And he's gonna take like a walk by whatever beautiful sights there are in Green Bay, and then go to like Great Clips and get his haircut.
Please get your haircut. Okay, we wanted to talk about, we go from like least favorite couple to favorite couple. Maybe. I don't actually know if Taylor and Joe are
This
your favorite couple.
well, I don't know anything about Joe, so he can't fall into that just as a result of me knowing very little about him. Like I have to be sold on both members of this relationship, but this does continue our streak of like Taylor Swift getting Nick back on the podcast.
100%. Okay, I just want to say like people think Joe and Taylor are PR, but it's like when he's a
No, there's no
nobody,
way.
it's like when he has gained nothing from this relationship, it's like it's not PR.
And Taylor Swift doesn't need to be in a PR relationship. Like I would say, like Taylor Swift, like PR could have been like Taylor Swift with like John Mayer.
Yeah,
Like
and
that could
Harry
have
and
been.
yes,
Yeah, or
yes.
Harry Styles is probably the
Yes.
best example of that.
Yes, 100%. Does she need PR now? Like she got together with him 5 years ago, so that would have
I
been
think her PR
20.
with
That
him
would have
is
been
like,
Reputation. So maybe she did
yeah.
need some PR then.
Oh, but so you're writing the young adult novel now of like the PR that actually falls in love. What
I've
trope is this?
okay, romance novelists, if you're out there listening to this podcast, I swear to God, I have been plugging this for weeks now. Write a romance novel where there are two celebrities and they get together for PR and fall in love. I'm sure it's been done, but that's such a fun trope.
I can't say I've ever read that trope, but I like the trope.
Well, I feel like it's like the fake engagement trope that happens all the time in romance novels that it's like that actually never happened in real life. So
I
just
don't
move
know
it
if
to
I like.
PR.
I don't know if I like the trope of like two famous people like getting together for PR and then like actually falling in love. But I do like the really uber famous person needs somebody, so let's go find some
Like
nobody.
a philanthropist or
Yeah,
something. Yes. Okay, I like
and then
that.
they like actually fall in love because I actually do think that like at this point they're probably like legit.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
thinking that like they're gonna get married very very shortly. I feel like this is obviously like it for them. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like celebrities don't date for like 12 years and then break up. I feel like it's not like as common. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it's okay. she's gonna probably do like one more touring circuit because she hasn't been able to tour since. Is it Reputation she hasn't been
Yeah.
able to tour since? Because she didn't tour Lover because Loverfest got canceled. I would know. I had tickets.
Yeah, still
So I
recovering.
think that she's probably gonna drop another this part three that we've been talking about, or just she's gonna have another album, or she's gonna go on a tour once she can properly tour, and then she's probably gonna like get married, and if she wants to have a kid, like have a kid. You know, like Adele right now, like she's doing her like Las Vegas residency,
Yeah,
and
which
how
got
there's like rumors
postponed
of her,
slash
but
canceled.
there's rumors of her being engaged. She had a thing that she was like, no, I'm definitely doing this residency tour in 2022 because I want to have a baby in 2023. And like, you don't just say I want to have a baby in 2023
If you don't have a partner.
unless you're like planning on like adopting or something.
Totally. But why do you think that these rumors, I guess because you think they're true, like have stuck? Because there's been rumors for, like, I feel like since they were dating for 2 years and now it's 5. So for the past 3 years, there's been rumors that they're engaged. Some people even say that they're married.
I think probably because like there's just not a whole lot of like Taylor Swift news now. Like, sorry, side note again, like Taylor Swift just released that song with
Ed
Ed Sheeran,
Sheeran.
and I just want to say like that is like not the collaboration between the two of them. Like that song itself is just, in my opinion, not a good song.
Okay,
Like it's just
literally, I've
not a good
I've
song. Like
listened to it once. I do like Ed Sheeran. Like I don't know if I like love him or hate him, but I really liked his first album.
I'm not anti Ed Sheeran, and I know there are a lot of people who are very anti Ed
I'm
Sheeran.
not anti, but I'm not like
Yeah, I'm not
pro.
pro. Yes,
But literally, they've collaborated on what, 3 songs now? Name a good one.
I mean I don't hate Endgame. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Everything, here's my opinion on everything. Reputation is if you're in the mood for it, it hits.
Yes.
But if you're not, it doesn't. Yes, the two of them I think are friends, and they like keep trying to make it work, but it just like doesn't. It doesn't work.
Like collaborative, like their music
Yeah,
doesn't work. Yeah. Like there's Everything Has Changed, Endgame, the one from the vault from Red that I can't even remember its name, and then this one. And I'm just like, I don't know, don't love any of them.
um, yeah. It just and I just genuinely don't think like the song he picked for her to collab on is like a good song. Like it's way too slow. If I think of like recent Taylor Swift collaborations, like I really like Renegade, which she did with like Binger,
Oh my God, like
whatever they're
top
called.
song of 2021.
But like the one she did with Haim. I don't know why it just doesn't work. He could have picked a better song.
Yeah,
Joker and the
100%.
Queen just wasn't it. And I don't think like her vocals or his vocals like sound bad. It's just like the song is bad.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
They were working with Rocky Foundation, and
yeah, it's hard
and
to
that's that.
say like what's bad about their collaborations because again, like you're right, like vocals are good, lyrics are good, like melody's good, but like I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't all mesh.
I think maybe it's like the tone of their voice. But anyway, I got on all of this by saying like there's just not a lot of Taylor Swift news out right now, which is
Yeah.
very rare for her because she was dropping albums like one after the other.
Yeah. In the
uh,
past 2 years, yeah.
and I think that she's such like a money grab for people. Like I feel like there are YouTubers who have launched their career by just like reacting to Taylor Swift songs. Like she is kind of like an industry that like okay, well this is something that we can grab at. Like it's something we can grab at. It's no different than people would do with like other very large stars.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point and she does have to stay in the spotlight for the release of her next album because if she does a re-release, I think people like forget that it's like it's technically not new music. So you like there has to be some other draw. So
Yeah.
I just think it makes sense for her. So do you think she released like these rumors or like or her camp?
I think that they're probably actively not shutting them down because they benefit them, whether they plan on launching them or not. And to be honest, like I think that if the rumors is that they're engaged, I don't think Taylor Swift really cares enough to shut them down. Like
Yeah,
that's
like
a
who
very
cares?
different rumor than like, oh, they've broken up.
Yes.
Like the one is more harmful in the sense of like just like if you're actually like in love, like that's more harmful than like, oh, they're engaged. Especially if even if they're not engaged, but like they're planning on getting engaged, which like most people go into a relationship, like unless you're Aaron Rodgers or Shailene Woodley, probably thinking you're getting engaged. that like
They were
that's probably where they're
engaged.
at. Yeah, they were fake engaged.
Yeah, you're right. Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, they really Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries did that one,
Yeah.
but to a much less dramatic and more like ugly scale.
Yes. So this is going to be like the meanest thing I say on this podcast probably, but like, and like I don't know anything about him, so maybe it's unfounded, but like I just feel like Taylor deserves someone who is like exceptional in all ways, and I feel like he's just like such a basic bitch.
Yeah, but I think that's his draw. His draw
Is that he's
is
a
like
normie?
he's not trying, like that he's like, I'm completely fine with her being like the bigger star in this relationship, and I'm just gonna like sit back and let her do it, but also have like parts of my own life. Like if you have like two like extremely like type A top notch celebrities, like drama is going to follow. Like even Beyonce and Jay-Z had drama
Yep.
that they were able to move past and used it to their advantage. But then on the flip side, you have people like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, and like that is just so ugly in all the ways right now.
100%. Yeah, that's a really good point. And you're right. A lot of successful Hollywood relationships have been where one person is like maybe not in a different, like a super different field, but like a little bit different and not just vying for like the same attention.
Or they're like older in their career, and it's like, okay, like Ben Affleck and J Lo right now,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever that is, like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Good
not like
point.
young hot passion.
Yeah, where like also their fame is fleeting. Like Ben and Jen have been famous for like 30 years, so
Yeah,
they don't have this like more like up and down career
yeah.
like young people do. Well, mazel to Taylor and Joe if they're engaged. But I guess we'll see because again, it's not.
We will see because you and I are getting invites to the wedding
Yeah, yeah,
with all the
we'll be
PR we've
there.
done for them.
So yes. Pettyweight Champion of the Week, Nick. Who are you nominating?
So I am nominating 79-year-old former football player Dick Butkus, that is his real name, who has been shady tweeting at Aaron Rodgers and Shailene Woodley for the better part of the last month. um,
He honestly kind of
with
like beat me to the punch. Like,
he really did. Just for those of you who don't know who Dick Butkus is, I absolutely don't blame you in any way, shape, or form. He used to play football, and he played for the Chicago Bears, which is like the rival of Aaron Rodgers' Green Bay Packers. And this man is 79 years old, tweeting like a Gen Zer, all lowercase, as you would imagine. And the best part is every time he tweets at Aaron Rodgers, like he tags Aaron Rodgers' official Twitter account.
that is so fucking petty.
So this week, when the rumors broke of Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers breaking up, he tweeted, "Every time I try to engage here on my phone, it gets interrupted by someone named Shailene WhatsApp." And then he also tweeted, "For all of you who have asked, I am not the reason that Shailene Woodley and at Aaron Rodgers 12 have broken up." So really like calling them out. A few months back, Aaron Rodgers on an interview is talking about how, he was playing well despite having a broken toe. And instead of just expecting the reporters to take his words for having a broken toe, he took his sock off and gave free feet pics to the Zoom call by showing his little feet.
Nubbies. So is he on like the foot wiki feet? Probably.
I'm sure that he probably is, but the gag of it all was like you couldn't even tell the toe was broken because it was like his ring toe. Nobody can tell. Like that it just looks like a small little nub. Like nobody's gonna know if that's broken or not. But
That's so
at the
funny.
time, he tweeted. Let me pull up this tweet because he tagged Aaron Rodgers in it. I should have had this pulled up, but this 79-year-old man does tweet a lot more than you would actually think that he does.
He does. Are we gonna like comment on his name or just let it?
Hey at hey at Aaron Rodgers, help me get verified or I'll hurt more than your toe. We love threatening violence.
It's just so iconic that he just has this like one bone to pick with Aaron Rodgers and like is using to like this is why Twitter was invented, I'm sure.
Oh yes, it like really it really is. So I've just been enjoying this guy tweeting at Aaron Rodgers. He also tweeted, "Now that I have a blue check mark, I can kick people off the platform, right? You hear me at Aaron Rodgers."
Someone please start a Twitter account that just says like Dick Butt Kisses beef and then just retweet every time he mentions Aaron Rodgers.
Could you imagine, like, if some, like, 79-year-old man logged onto Twitter for the sole purpose of just, like, dragging me? Like, how do you recover from that? Who's gonna take my side?
And
Nobody.
he gets a notification he probably has them
Yes.
turned off, but every time he tweets, he's like, oh, at me. Like,
Oh, please. Aaron Rodgers has left the platform of Twitter.
yeah, he's on Parler now. Like,
Like, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't gonna make the joke, so I'm glad that you went there.
oh my goodness. Okay,
So he's my nomination of Pettyweight Champion of the Week.
amazing. What a rightful winner. Okay, Nick, it's time for This Week in Petty. What were you petty about this week?
Alright, so it was actually, Tori asked me this question right before we started recording, and she was like, don't tell me the story, but, like, do you have one? And I was like, trying to think, and I was like, honestly, like, I don't really know if I have one, but I told a story to, like, one of my, like, friends earlier this week, and they were like, oh my god, I didn't realize how petty you were. And I was like, that wasn't a petty story. It wasn't. It's like, what? Like, I was just, like, sharing an anecdote about my life.
When the pettiness just, like, seeps out into your stories.
So I'm going to share the story, and I would love to hear thoughts from you, Tori. Like, is it a petty thing? Like, is this a petty action?
Okay. Also, it's
Right,
like,
so
if they're friends with you, how do they not know you're petty? Like, they're obviously an acquaintance or, like, a third-tier
right.
friend. No offense if you're listening.
But this actually connects to curling. So, like, when you go into like, a curling rink, like, it is a big
I
cold.
know
It's
this.
like a
I know
hockey rink.
this.
So, you wear a hat, right? I don't actually, Tori, I don't think you know this story, but like you know that the curling rink is cold. So I'm wearing I'm going to get like a winter hat to wear into the
A
curling rink, and I'm
toque.
like a toque. Is that it's pronounced toque?
Yeah.
I thought it was always pronounced a toque.
No, it's a toque.
That is so Canadian. That pronunciation makes too much sense. I don't like it. Toque.
Yes. So you were going to buy a toque?
Stop. No, so I wasn't going to buy one. I was rummaging through my winter hat supplies to find one. And I literally like could not find the one that I wanted to. And I found this other hat that we had been gifted for Christmas by somebody. And I was like, I cannot wear this hat in public because I don't want people to think that I'm supporting this person's brand. Now, this is not like a questionable brand. And now that I'm sharing the story, I'm just going to give like the full background. I'm not going to be able to share this on my socials because I don't want my friend to know. One of my friends
This is getting good.
has a business company.
Kate, Nick, you spill way too much real tea on this podcast. I also just want to point out that Nick is lying on his bed like we're on a sleepover and he's spilling the hottest tea I've ever heard.
Look, I don't have a chair in this room. So I found like this hat, and I was like, I cannot like be like repping like this brand like in public around people because I don't want them to ask what it is, and I don't want to have to say like, oh, it's my friend's brand. Like you should look into it and buy it because like I'm not giving free promo like that. Like you don't deserve my free promo.
No free clout for the girlies.
But I was like, I need a hat. So I took the hat and I wore it to curling. And instead of folding it the way the hat needed to be folded with the logo on the outside, I folded it so the logo was on the inside so that it was just a classic, regular, monocolor hat without the logo showing. And I folded it in. So I was like going about like my day of curling, and after curling we went broom stacking. So we went out to like the bar after, and I like had taken like the hat off and the logo like showed, and they're like, oh, is that so and so's hat? And I was like, oh yeah, like it is, like let's move this conversation along. They're like, oh, I didn't even like notice that it had that logo earlier when we were playing. And I was like, oh, I like had tucked it in. Like why'd you tuck it in? So I explained why I tucked it in and like went to move on. They're like, oh my god, that's like so petty. And I was like,
Nick,
I was just trying to like move it along. Like I needed a hat, I wore a hat, and we move.
Nicholas John Drinkwater. That is the pettiest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. Are you fucking kidding me? That is
But I wasn't
so
like
petty.
outwardly being petty. Like nobody was supposed to know.
In your heart, you know. Like,
But it was just me. Like, I wasn't doing any harm to anybody.
I know, but the pettiest people just do it for themselves. Holy shit. Are you serious? You didn't think that was bad?
I mean, not that I didn't think it was, like, bad, but I was just like, I wasn't advertising it, so it didn't matter.
You're like, this isn't a paid sponsor, so I won't be advertising their brand. And I won't even mention it on this godforsaken podcast.
I probably should, to give them, like,
Yeah.
I will say, here's what I will say.
But
the
don't.
hat that I wore, like, was better quality than I thought. I actually like the very minimalist, like, design of it all, but it was the principle.
Whenever you say it was the principal, you're being a petty bitch. Like, oh my god. Okay, that's like low-key iconic. But yeah, that person was completely right. I'm so sorry. But I have to side with them. The court of Tory sides with your third tier friend.
Well, I mean, I stand by the actions. I did wear the hat this week,
Yeah.
and I didn't shove the
Nice, that's
logo away
growth.
because the gig was up at that point.
Yeah.
But
Okay, you have to, after this podcast ends, you have to DM me a picture of the toque.
I don't think I have a picture of it because
Well, take one. Snapchat it to me.
Will do.
Okay. Nick, this was so much fun as per usual. I just feel like you get me. You get all my references no matter how long ago they were. So thanks for
that's
coming
how
on.
I felt yesterday when I sent you that Snapchat of me wearing the two different boots with, like, smooth rockin', because I sent that to, like, 4 people and Tori was the only one who got the reference.
Oh my god, I love that so much. I listen to the Hannah Montana discography like once a week. So
Nothing shocks me
yeah.
less.
It's fucking good. Okay, Nick, where can the listeners find you if they want to hear, like, where are your petty tweets at?
So the petty, I don't feel like I'm not even, like, petty on Maine anymore.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't tweet all that much. I kind of just, like, I'm petty in the DMs.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm petty in the subgroup chats.
Yes.
That's
Oh
where
god.
the pettiness is.
Chef's kiss, love a subgroup chat.
But on all the main accounts, not so much.
We're still on our Instagram boycott.
Yeah. Yes, we are. We definitely are. And I have not broken that yet. I keep thinking about, like, when I am.
Me
and I just,
too.
like, haven't had anything to, like, do it. I mean, you went on a vacation. You should have done it. But
Yeah, I should have done like a curated photo dump. I might over the last 2 years.
it has to be worth it. It truly has to be, like, worth it for the unboycott to end.
Agreed.
Instagram needs to serve their time properly. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I'm sure most of you probably already do at this point at Nick_Drinkwater. I think I don't know if I'm private on there anymore, but if I am, like, just I will accept almost anybody as long as you're not my student.
Good, you're not. Yeah, good.
And same thing with Instagram at Drinky11, but, like, you're not really gonna catch me interact with much on there. But if you have anything that you want to, like, PM me that's funny, like,
Yeah, like people might want to
in there.
comment on your story.
Yeah, that I
Stories
post
and your
every so
opinions.
often,
Your
yeah.
opinions, your hot takes.
Yeah, so that's all I've got. Just follow me the next time I'm back on the pod. Rewatched for just me.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, thanks for coming on, Nick.
Oh, anytime. Anytime.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to Nick for joining me on today's episode. There are 2 things I want to touch on that happened after our recording before I leave you to it. So Aaron Rodgers posted some Monday Night Gratitude. It is Monday, February 21st when I'm recording this now. It is like a carousel of, like, it's a photo dump, essentially. And one of the photos is him and Shailene, and they're cuddled up on the couch. And he says, at Shailene Woodley, thanks for letting me chase you after the first couple months after we met, and finally letting me catch up to you and be a part of your life. Thanks for always having my back, for the incredible kindness you show me and everyone you meet, and for showing me what unconditional love looks like. I love you and I am grateful for you. So I'm just confused because of the breakup post. So like, are they actually together? Because I would like literally die if they are, or is this just like, I love you unconditionally because we're like friends? So I did a Twitter or an Instagram poll, and everyone so far has voted like, no, they're not together, and this post is just cringe. But I don't know, only I guess time will tell. And then the other thing, like, I don't love commenting on people's appearances. I feel like that's just like not fair to people. But I will say, I do have this theory that like you will begin to look worse if you're evil. And if you look at Aaron Rodgers' trajectory of like when he was first drafted to the Green Bay Packers to now, it is a very like Prince Will vibes. And Prince Will, like, I've talked about this on the podcast before, like when I've done a deep dive on the royal family, but like just like chef's kiss perfection as a teenager, and just like the biggest like trajectory fail I've ever seen. It's so sad to see, but I kind of feel like it's Aaron Rodgers vibes too. Kirsten McInnes, a guest a few weeks ago, said it was very like Lin-Manuel Miranda trying to play Hamilton versus like Nicolas Cage vibes. And I don't know, I just feel like he looks sickly, and you know, that's on him. And then the last thing I just want to say is we talked about Taylor and her engagement to Joe, and I was on Reddit, Avidog, Kit Kat Bar, and there was a blind item. Again, I think the author is Crazy Days and Nights, but this person didn't share that. So I'm just going to guess, but it's from Saturday, February 19th, 2022. And it says, do you honestly think this A-plus list singer did get engaged? It would be a tiny leak to one media outlet or something that would dominate conversation for a week that was planned to the nth degree. Let the actress / muse / drug addict get out of the way and then see what happens. Which people are thinking that maybe this is about Taylor. And I kind of agree. I think it was like some fucking Randy Jackson publication that first said that they were engaged. And then it was just like sources say, and then literally every tabloid in the world got picked up. So people were thinking that maybe the actress / muse / drug addict is like Selena Gomez or Julia Fox or anything like that. But I don't know. I totally get it. It's like, we talked about this on the episode. It's like you have to, you know, stay in the media to sell records and stuff. And maybe she, I don't know, just leaked this because it's really easily like blows up like wildfire. Anyways, those were just my thoughts. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with your friends, send it to someone who you think would like it, or share it on your social media. That's the best thing you can do for RTBP. And of course, if you have something that you want me to talk about, just send me a DM on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and I would love to incorporate that into my upcoming shows. Anyways, thank you so much to Nate for editing today's podcast. I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Tori, and I am ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.